All right, hey everyone. This is a quick update. It's been a while, but I've been working on kind of the fundamental structures of the game, which is the job system. Really, just being able to lay down commands and having these people execute them. I'll give an example really quickly right here. So here's a small line of earth blocks that I've just told someone to build, and he just went ahead and did them. Really quick, just getting this out of the way. Visually, their movement is it's not synced with the server quite perfectly. Also, you'll notice that if I have a set of commands, it might not visually update one immediately. That actually looked pretty good, but point is, these are really solvable problems. I just haven't gotten around to it because I'm working on the underlying, doing the actual work. Anyway, so you'll see how that's working, and it's the culmination of a lot of complex systems, from pathing to creating a job system to all the visual updates and the communication between the server and the client and yada yada. But it's working at some basic level. There are some issues, and that is what I would like to talk about. So I'm going to really quick lay out this big command, and you'll see that with a command big enough, it's going to call on multiple people to kind of divide and conquer, right? And you'll see that they're pathing through each other, they're getting in each other's way and pausing and then coming back to pieces that were previously missed. But at the end of the day, they set out all the positions that they needed to get to. They got to them, and they did what they needed to do, and they did it pretty quick. And by quick, I don't even mean from a performance aspect. I mean in a very few number of steps. The game obviously exists. You could consider it a turn-based game. Right now it's taking about 20 turns a second, which is why it's visually not quite updating perfectly, because some of the turns are being chewed up. It's not visually, that is. Point is, on the server, it's all really nice and tidy. But yeah, it was super efficient. They came in, they did what they needed to do. And then from a performance perspective, it also wasn't terrible. However, let's make that a little bit more complicated. Let's just set up a few walls and see how they do, right? It's kind of cool. It feels so cool to be able to just lay out these commands, say, hey, build these walls, and not really worry about it, and just watch them all get to work on the thing that you're telling them, that you're just kind of stubbing out. I'm really loving how that feels, and before you know it, it's mostly built. But the emphasis here is on the word mostly. You will see that they've missed a few spots. They missed a spot there, there. You get it. Here, let me free these. Let's let these people build a little door so they can get out. Cool. Anyway, so I have a couple ideas for how I can solve this. One is I restrict user input. So if I say build this, for example, it will actually only build the commands that are immediately accessible given the current geometry. That to get that perfect is not going to happen, because it's going to require a whole lot of calculation to determine that building that is impossible all the way up there, because it's technically adjacent to some pieces. It's locally accessible, but to compute global accessibility, it's not going to happen. And that's fine. I'm content with that. I'm content with building some structures if they're so complicated, and if you're just chunking them all out, that the gnomes aren't going to be able to get to them. However, this is not an especially complex structure. This I would like to have you be able to confidently build. Just laying stuff out. Cool. So, yeah, as I was saying, one idea to solve that is I build a big old cube, and it creates the subset of things that are that are locally accessible, and then I can build the cube again, and it'll build the next row, and again, and it'll do the next row. I could also, yeah, computationally do that from within the server. So I have this full list, and they just wait until every single thing is done on the accessible row before they touch the next row, and I just deconstruct any command into a set of layers. That could work too. I don't know. So this is certainly not an intractable problem. In fact, Dwarf Fortress, which is a game that this is heavily inspired from, solves this problem, even though they do it in a 2D terminal. Their game world is precisely as dynamic as this one. It is 3D. You can build walls. However, their interface is not. Their interface is restricted to editing on a single Z layer at a time. And so I'm curious if anyone has any clever ideas for how I can orient all this. I know I'm being a bit redundant in my description, but I'm just circling around, an idea here of how we can make this building system feel really loose and feel like you are the architect and your peons are figuring out the details and you don't need to micromanage anything. Because that feels really cool, and it also looks really cool when they all just get to work and then they do what you tell them. But yeah, there's got to be some balance between how to make this work reliably and consistently. And for example, if you're trying to build walls and this is how they end up looking, that's really frustrating. Here's something that's somewhat interesting, maybe, so I've just added a command here. You see that there was a command that was left here that was untouched. I just added these commands, and now they're going to try them. Nope, they didn't get it there. Oh, come on. And there we go. So as soon as that was made accessible, it was built. And now this one is accessible, but someone else might. There we go. Cool. So as long as something is accessible, it will eventually get built. And if you build something that makes something accessible, then that will also additionally get built. However, I don't know. There's a tension between busy work and what is engaging and interesting and satisfying. I don't know. At this point, I've rambled too much, so thanks for watching. Hopefully, this is starting to peel back what this game can eventually become. Because I think once I crack this nut, it's really gonna open up. Cool. All right. Thanks for tuning in.